Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me tonight for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to paint this really cute little artist snowman. I'm so excited about this one. I can't hardly stand it. There might be a few cutes said tonight, so I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man of chat tonight, so let's get started on it. Alrighty, I've kind of prepped my canvas. I'm using a 12 by 12 inch blue label Fredrix canvas. These ones are ultra smooth texture, so if you don't have a nicer canvas like this one, what you can do is just put a coat of gesso down, let it dry and sand it off a little bit. Maybe 1 or 2 coats of gesso will smooth them out a cheaper canvas just fine. But I'm excited about having the nicer canvases tonight to work on. I have painted this one with a coat of white and a little dab of Quinacridone Magenta and an even smaller dab of yellow. So just like quite a lot of white, little bit of magenta, and even littler bit of yellow, just to give it kind of a like a slightly peachy tone to it. But you can use whatever color in your background or leave it off completely if you don't want to do an underlayer. I just like having that glow of pink or orangey color through the background of snow, because those blues can be really cold, and so this kind of gives it a little bit of a glow and a warmth to our snowman. For brushes, I'm going to be using mostly Filberts to kind of fill in the main details. So I've got some different kinds here. This is the Aspen from Princeton with the black handles. These are kind of my favorite for doing kind of juicier textured work, because it's when you're working with heavy body acrylics, you need a brush that's going to be a little bit firmer to help push around the paint. So these do really great for that. So I've got a 12 and a 6 Filbert, and then I've got the Willows blender, or the blender now it's just called, 3/8 inch VelvetTouch. Also going to be doing some of the snow down here with the Deerfoot Stippler, or some sort of even a sponge of some sort, or just some sort of a stippler brush that will give us some texture in our snow. And then we'll need a fan brush for our snow, or a toothbrush, whatever, to do our speckling. And then just a small round of some sort to do some of the details in the face and the brushes. So that should get us through. We'll see. If I need another brush, I'll let you know as we go. As far as colors go, let me go over those. I've got Carbon Black, Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, which I might not need that much of that, but Quinacridone Magenta, ooh, brain blip. Quinacridone Magenta, Pyrrole Orange, or Cadmium Red Light, just a orangey red, or Cadmium Orange would work also. Cadmium Yellow Light, Phthalo Green Yellow shade, Cobalt Teal, Phthalo Blue Green shade, Ultramarine Blue, Dioxazine Purple. Most of these colors are just going to be used in the palette. So the main colors that you're going to need are just like a pink and a blue for the main portions of the painting, and then the rest of them are just going to be whatever I want to put on the palette itself. Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, and Zinc, and I'm also going to put out Zinc White. I'm sorry, not just Zinc, Zinc White. Be specific about that. Sorry. Some gloss glazing liquid. That'll just give us a little bit of extra drying time, and if we need to do any glazing, it'll just be nice to have. All right, before we start, because we've got a stretch canvas like this, and we can't do this on canvas boards, obviously, but this will give us extra drying time if we spray down the back really nicely with water. You don't want it dripping off the sides or anything, but just a nice, like, water on the back there. I can already tell I'm going to have trouble with my words tonight. I've been drawing, so that always happens when I lose my words when I try to draw or do any art. Makes it difficult to teach. All right, so let's go ahead and start on this. As far as the drawing goes, I will have a traceable for this for you. Those who are patrons on my website, you can go there, thankfulart.com. It's right down, and you can just search for Snowman, or it's right now it's on the main page of tutorials. So you link to your Patreon account, and it's only $2 a month right now for traceables. So that's just 2023 December. It's going to change next year. All right. So I guess I'll kind of, I mean, you guys know how to draw a snowman, right? I mean, really, it's like a big pear shape right here for the body, and then a little circle for the head with a little band of the scarf in there. The hat is just a little kind of kidney shape like that, kind of curves around the top and cuts off the head like that. Not the head, but you know what I mean, on that goes across the forehead like that. I might make it a little bit smaller. I don't know. We'll see. We'll adjust as we need to. And then the palette, also kind of a kidney shape. We're going to put it kind of right at the shoulder, just a little bit of a shoulder here, and have the body come out just a little bit to kind of indicate the arm. I'm not even putting the hand there. If you want to put a hand, you could have the hand kind of coming off here, holding onto it. I might do that. I don't know. If you wanted to. I don't think it needs it. I feel like it's probably just being held up underneath somehow magically, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then this arm here, about the same level where this goes in, you're going to kind of come in and back out and just kind of do a rounded spot there and a line across right about the same level for the shoulder on this side. And it can actually kind of come down a little bit if you want it to, the shoulders, instead of going straight across, which is kind of weird. And then the brushes, just make sure you get them straight here and here. Go just straight through the hand, and we'll get those a little bit more. But that's really all you have to draw. Just make sure that it kind of, you leave yourself about an inch on top and bottom there, just for some breathing room. And then we're going to kind of curve up the sides there with some white. But first we're going to paint our background, a little bit of snowy scene here. I'm going to get a large filbert here, and I'm probably going to cover up a lot of this drawing, but I just wanted to kind of get an idea of placement of the body and things before I did the background. Okay, so getting, I don't want to take too long just talking. I've been talking for 9 minutes. Let's paint. By all means.
Let's do this.
All right. So I'm going to do the background maybe a little bit more minty than I did in the reference, because I realized that I really like this color that we used last week with the polar bear. So I might go a little bit, slightly more green with our colors. So using that teal and maybe adding just a little bit of phthalo green and a little bit of phthalo blue, and then some white. And I want this color to be kind of a mid to dark. Like, I don't want it too light, because I want the snowman to kind of stand out against it. So I might go a little bit darker than this, maybe not quite that much white. And if we want to neutralize it somewhat, we can add just a little bit of burnt sienna to it as well, and that'll kind of bring it down to a little bit more natural color. That seems dark. I don't know. I'm going to go a little bit lighter than that. Okay. And really, you could wait to draw on your snow girl, snow woman. I don't know. Is it a snowman still if it's a woman? I don't know the politically correct way of referring to her. I always call them just snowman, even if they're girl ones, but it's probably not right.
Snow entity.
Snow person.
Snow Martian.
Martian. What?
Why not? Could be. Could be alien.
Okay. I'm sorry. Never mind. I'm using a larger brush. This one's actually kind of big.
Have you not learned to not ask me these things?
I don't know why I asked you. Yeah. I just was throwing that out as a discussion topic, but it went off the rails real fast.
You do it to yourself. There's no mercy.
It's like, what? Okay. All right, so that looks good. I'm definitely not staying with my drawing here, but that's okay. We're just getting paint on the canvas, and this brush is way too big. It's putting the paint down fast, but it is definitely not controlled in any way. So it's definitely good. I have a simple solution is to like get a different brush, but I've committed and now I'm just gonna go with it. But I would suggest using a little bit smaller brush. It's gonna take a little bit more time, but you won't have to fight it as much as I am. Okay, so there we go. Let's see if I can get in here without covering it up completely. I am going to have to just paint over those brushes, though. I'm not going to try to paint around them. But it gives me a good kind of starting point for the hands and things. I think we're good. And our scarf. Okay, there we go. Get that on there. And I'm going up and down with it just so that if I have any streaks, it'll kind of look like they're meant to be there. We got that kind of tree-like forest scene going on behind her. And does that look, I think it's all right. Might bring it in just a little bit right here. We can always bring her back out later, you know, round her out a little bit more. I'm gonna just lightly dust her body with some blue. I swear I know what I'm doing. Doesn't look like it yet, but we're getting there. It's a process. Painting always looks worse before it looks better. So, okay, that looks good.
I wasn't paying attention. Did you inform them that they can paint it whatever color they want?
Paint what?
The snow thing that you're doing. Snowman, Snowwoman.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, because we had an incident.
We did have an incident. I tried to give Liam, my grandson, one of these stickers that I made of it. By the way, we're giving some of these away tonight. So if you're interested in stickers, stick around.
First one to show up.
I punned it there.
First one to show up gets a sticker.
Look at that. Oh, here, I can hold it up against it, and then we're done. Boom. Already. That was fast. Yeah, he didn't like the pink. He was like, I don't like pink.
I don't like pink.
He handed it back to me.
And he's 4. Okay.
Okay. Very opinionated. He's got opinions about colors already. It's all right. I'm not a fan of some colors. Who shall not be named. Because then... My grandmother, I asked her once what her favorite colors was, and it was like orange and brown. She was a woman of the 60s, 70s, so I understand it now, but at the time I was like horrified. Like orange and brown. What? Of all the beautiful colors out there, orange and brown. Okay.
Not 90 pastels.
I know.
What?
Exactly.
What color was our counters in our first house?
Pink.
Pink.
This color, literally.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm doing white and glazing medium here with just a little bit of that blue. So mostly white here, and I'm just trying to kind of thin it out. The glaze just kind of will help it stick, and I'm just going to kind of run it through here. And I've switched to a smaller brush. This is the 6 Filbert. And I'm just going to do some trees through here, and not going to worry about the background too much, or my person here. I'm just going to kind of, anywhere where I think that it's going to show through, I'm just going to keep on going through her body. But like right here, it needs to go down, and then this one can go all the way down through. Some of them a little thicker than others.
Hey, real quick, somebody would like to know, is there a reason why you painted the background pink before you started?
Yeah, I like, because it's blue, the blues tend to kind of be cold looking, which is fine, you know, obviously. But I wanted to warm it up a little bit, or just make it a little bit more cozy feeling. And the pink gives it like a glow underneath the blue. Even if we cover most of it up, it's still there in, you know, just slightly. It kind of tints the color. You know, you don't want it to turn your snow brown, obviously, because if you have it too orange, it'll kind of make it brown. And we're not going for purple either. It just kind of, we're letting it dry completely, so it's not like mixing with it like we're doing here, where, you know, we're putting these trees on over the top of this wet paint, and it's gonna, I kind of want them lighter right around her, and then maybe a little darker on the outsides. But I think that's probably good enough. All right. And I'll probably kind of blend over this a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit, like if it feels too much, just kind of use a clean brush and sort of wipe through. Just make sure that your paint is not drying, because you can kind of lift off some of the color if it's too tacky, sticky. It gets kind of sticky when it dries. Okay, looks good enough, I think. You get the feeling of a forest, I feel like. All right, so I'm going to get my Deerfoot Stippler. I'm going to get some of this same color and just tap in around. We're going to do more of this after she's painted, so that, you know, we kind of have a final thing here. So we'll do it a little bit brighter in some places. But for now, we're just going to kind of tap this in. I have not wet down this brush. Doesn't need to be wetted when you use it. It's better to keep it dry, because it gets a little soggy when it is wet. And these were ones that they're natural hair, so they can take a lot of abuse. They're pretty. I actually don't really clean them very well. I don't use a lot of soap on them or whatever, because I kind of like them more as they age and get beat up. They tend to, I like them a little bit more. All right, that looks good enough, I think. Let's go ahead and start on our snow person. I'm going to go back to the brush I was just using. And this time on her, I think I'm going to go a little bit more green even, or even might go slightly purple in places. Like I left kind of a lot of pink here showing actually on my, ooh, that wiped right off, didn't it? I left some of that kind of a pinkish glow showing on my original. So I'm going to push this paint around that I already had on here, which was not dry yet, which is fine. Looks good. And then get a little bit more white and a little bit more of just a cobalt teal. Maybe let me try ultramarine blue with that cobalt teal and see what I get. I might use that. It's more of a cooler blue. I just want a different blue, just slightly different on her body. than what we did for the snow. And I probably want it a little bit darker under here too. So I might go Phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, and maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. See what happens there. So that's I don't know, do we want to stick with teal? Kind of debating whether or not I want to do a whole new blue or just stick with the same color family. Well, we'll start there, and if we decide we don't like it, we can paint over it. It'll give us a starting place at least. Yeah, I kind of think I like the teal better. I'm going to add a little bit of green to that color. So probably don't need the ultramarine blue. We'll just go with the darker version of the background. Yeah, a little bit more green. Okay, that looks good. And then get some white. I'm just going to blend that in. Don't go all the way to the bottom there, and if I have too much paint on my brush, I can kind of wipe it off on another clean spot. Before blending back in. Go. I'm definitely going to go whiter with this so it shows up. There we go. The only place I really need it that dark is kind of where it's at the bottom, where it's down there. It can be tricky working with blue on blue on blue, you know, so the main thing is just to kind of look out for areas where you might be losing your form, you know, or like your object is disappearing into the background. Then you can just, you know, choose to add a little bit darker, either darker or lighter color to help it stand out a little bit more. But that looks okay so far. And
so we got a question. Mm-hmm. So if somebody is not a member of Patreon, how would they go about signing up for Patreon today with the new website and all that?
If you just go to the website and click on up at the upper corner, it's got become a member, I think, a button, and it'll take you to Patreon, or you can go to patreon.com/AngelaFineArt, and that'll get you hooked up. There's lots of different levels on there. We've got literally hundreds of videos that are just for patrons, that are longer versions of, you know, things that I just don't have time to do on YouTube. You know, 8 to 10 hour paintings just don't fly on YouTube. So lots more in-depth kind of painting and different things like that. So.
And there's links to your website and Patreon down below this video here. If they just
I'll
click
show you the two
show more.
most recently worked on. This is the $5 level one and the $10 level one. So this one was like 8 hours, I think, something like that. And this one was 4 hours. So usually the challenge level ones take a lot more time and are a little bit more in depth with the design process too. I show a lot more of that behind the scenes design stuff. All right, so I'm mixing these two browns, and I'm going to add a little bit of unbleached titanium to it, and let's put in our palette. So our palette's going to be about the same height as our hand there. somewhere in here. And that unbleached titanium is just helping to kind of give it stick a little bit, or a little bit more opacity. Those browns are pretty much opaque, but it'll just help that much more. It's a little, that anytime you're going over another color that is dark, you will want to use a little bit of white, will help things out. Widen that up a little bit right there, bring it out a little before it narrows. It kind of didn't narrow it down very much right there. There we go. I think I put too much of that water back there. Nothing's drying on me. Everything's just need to rethink that a little bit. Okay, getting some more white. Put my shoulder in here. Ooh, got a little bit on there. Don't want that. There. I guess that came up right there. Okay. So there we go. Just try to blend that out a little bit. It's not wanting to blend for me. Okay, there we go. I definitely need to bring the body out here. You can see how it's just like disappearing right here, because that means that the body and the background are the same exact value. So I could either go darker with the background, or lighter with the background, or darker or lighter with the body. But I'm going to go lighter with the body here to help define it. Okay. There we go. Now we can see her body there. I was gonna pinch it in a little bit more, but she's been eating cookies. That's all right. I can relate. We'll just widen her out a little bit more on the bottom here. What?
It's that time of year.
Exactly. She had extra servings of pie.
And that's okay.
Yes.
Because it's yummy.
Yes. Okay, so here's the face. Just defining where that's going to be. Kind of leaving that scarf alone for now. Rounding that out. Adding white kind of in the middle here. And then I want to gonna go almost flat there at an angle. All right, that looks pretty good. And definitely needs to dry. This is all kind of soupy right now, so I need to let it dry. We can turn that humidifier off because I'm having a hard time getting this stuff to dry. It's like still really wet down here. All of this is still wet. It's like doing too good of a job. Okay. Getting the black do her hat. Might add a little bit of ultramarine blue to the black just to give it a little bit of a color. Besides just plain black. It's definitely pretty tall. I think left too much room for it. Might squash her. Yeah, I guess it's all right. So the beret comes kind of up and over.
It's kind of like the beret I got you in Paris.
Mm-hmm. It is. What about it?
I remember you were so nice about it because I got you one and it says Paris
it says
on
Paris on it. It's like, well.
You wanted like not a touristy one, huh?
Yeah, I just wanted one that was like plain. But that's all right.
Like a real one.
You got me one later. I have one that's plain.
Well, I had to go back.
Yeah, mine says Paris in big, like a bit ugly font right there. I'm like, not quite.
You weren't feeling it, huh?
No. Alrighty. We need to dry this because it is just too wet. I can't work with this, so I'm gonna send Mark with that and have him dry it because it's way too wet. All right. I was gonna talk about how to do the stickers, but I think we're gonna do those later on. We'll do it in chat, I think, and just not draw names, but have you guys maybe answer questions. I have a bunch of them. I'm not going to give away all of them because I was going to save some. So, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of fun. I like stickers. I put them all over my tablets and all that. So, all right. I already showed you the. Whoa. What we worked on here, but I'll go ahead and put those up just so we have something to look at. This was that $5 level bonus video. You also get traceables. The bonus videos are usually 3 to 5 hours long, usually less than 5, 3 to 4 is kind of where I shoot for, and that's like once a month. We do these videos all in one setting. And then the $10 level, we do the videos on Thursdays. So, and they usually run an hour to 2 hours, depending on if I'm trying to, like last week we did 2.5 hours because I was trying to get this done before the holiday so I could have the week off for the holiday. So we'll be back this month. Next month we're working on a scene with a horse and sleigh, and we'll have kind of a winter landscape behind it. The bonus video next month, I don't know what I'm going to do actually yet, but my December schedule should be coming out here this week. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up for our newsletter on my website, and we send out a reminder of the videos beforehand, and then we send out a monthly newsletter that has the schedule. So, alrighty, thank you, honey.
You're welcome. I noticed when I was drawing it, I had it on the side, and it looked like a guitar. Well, no, if you just rotate it 90 degrees that way.
Thank you. Now I can't unsee that.
So if you know how to draw a guitar, you can do a snowman body.
There you go.
Vintage.
Nice. All right, I think I'm going to get a smaller Deerfoot Stippler. I think I'm going to do the rest of her with that because I'm finding the brush is not blending very well for me. So I'm going to get white and just start kind of dabbing that on there. You want to start kind of where you want it the lightest. So, and you could add color to your white. I'm feeling like my background is going to seep through enough. I'm not putting it on too thick here. So as I get out to these outer areas, I'm going to pick up some of my blue and do the blue and just kind of continue to work in wet into wet. Don't have a lot of paint on my brush for these. You don't need a lot of paint. You could see how much is on there. You want to be able to see that texture. So if you put too much paint on here, it's just going to be a big blob of paint. It'll go on too thick for you. So, and then I can kind of smooth it out if I want to, just by kind of doing little circular motions. Okay, up there is pretty close to the color I want, and then I want this top part up here to be more white. So I'm going to take my white up there and just where the hand's getting hit by the light. And our brushes are going to kind of come below this, so that's good. And I'm not worried about it getting the texture off the side too. Kind of went over the edge deliberately a little bit. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of the darker color. Some of that green and burnt umber, or I'm sorry, burnt sienna and green and blue. Phthalo blue, phthalo blue, phthalo green. That was our dark color here. I'm going to use that here and kind of fuzz out that edge a little bit. And go over the snow just a little bit too, so that it kind of blends out the bottom of the body a little bit. See that? It looks a little more natural. And then just blending with circular motions to kind of soften up that look. If it gets really super sticky at any point, like that's starting to kind of get a little sticky, you can kind of just tap instead, or just let it dry completely and stay away from the part that's getting sticky. I'm going to get a little bit more white here. I'm having trouble right here again with my transition between the dark and the light snow. I think that's pretty good. You can see that's a little bit nicer looking, and it's giving her kind of a fuzzy texture. Okay, a little bit more white again. And this time I haven't cleaned out my brush, so it's gonna mix with it quite a bit. Bring it out here. That's fine. I went over my palette a little bit, but I'm gonna work on it, so looks good. Kind of wish that she came in a little bit on the sides there, but you can do that with yours if you want. Hard to be a little skinnier on the sides. Or him. Boys can wear pink too. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's good. I'm definitely kind of seeing some areas where it's feeling like it's getting kind of sticky, so I want to leave it alone. Let's work on the face. And I'm just going to use this light white here on the face. Tap in, adding a little bit of softness around the edges there, just kind of smoking that out. So a little bit of that color. I'm not going too fuzzy with it. Just kind of softly adding a little, like dry brushing over the edges a little bit so it's softened up. And then I want some of this darker color that I used down at the bottom here. I'm going to use it up at the top of the hat here. Give it a shadow. And then I want it also right underneath the scarf there. And then a little bit on the sides of the face. I'm just going to kind of tap, kind of bringing that down a little bit farther than I wanted to. So I'll probably have to clean that up a little bit, but tap a little bit at the bottom too. Okay, wipe that out really good. Get some more of that white. And just come back right here and tap in where I want the face to be. A little bit brighter right there. Just leave a little bit of that darker color right at the top and at the bottom. Okay. This may be an area where we can just glaze. I think I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. It'll probably be easier. Get a blender here. Get a little bit of white. Okay, so put it down, wipe your brush out. Kind of pull down and tap. I already had wet paint down there, so that's why I didn't add more, but if you didn't have wet paint down, you can add wet paint at this point with your brush in a lighter color. Kind of like we did with the body, you know, just gradually add more and more white till you get it to where you want it to be. In this area here, I want to be pretty bright, so add a little bit more white. I might have to have you dry it one more time. We'll see. I'll work on the scarf and the brushes, and then if the face isn't dry, we'll have to have you dry it again. Just adding a lot of paint to it here to get it the brightness that I want it to be. Get a little bit of that darker blue. Kind of blend out that edge. And blend out the shadow under the scarf there if you need to. Okay, I definitely think that body needs to be quite a bit whiter. So I'm going to get my stippler. This is dry-ish. Might not, I don't know, we'll see. Try to dry that brush off as much as I can. I'm really tapping pretty lightly here because I don't want to lift off any paint that's already here because it's not quite dry yet. There we go, a little bit brighter. That's more the color I want. I find with snow, it will, or with white, just in general, when you're going over a color like this, it'll look light and then it dries darker, and then you'll end up having to do this 2 or 3 times to get it the intensity of white that you want it to be. So that's not, just kind of, you know, keep an eye on it, put it down, keep an eye on it. don't put your final layers over it right away, because otherwise you may end up with it darker than you intended for it to be. We'll just let that dry a little bit. Okay, it's got some good texture there. And then I am going to glaze a little bit of that pink back in right down here, because I wanted a little bit of the pink glow in her body, and we've kind of painted it all over. I'm going to get that color from the background and just touch up some of that area around the hat. Any other little boo-boos? I'm going to bring her in just a little bit right here. I feel like I might have done a tree there, thinking that that was her body and it was really a tree. Just go like that, and then we'll add our snow. In around it. Try to blend that out a little bit right there. Yeah, it looks good. A little bit more white. I'm going to do this before I do my scarf, because my scarf is going to kind of go over this area. So I want to be sure I get this in before I do that.
Looking cute so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, getting the shape there.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could pose for it for you.
Are you my model? You were my inspiration.
Yeah, you kind of like took a picture and then ran it through some filters and get the shape.
Not quite. All right. A little bit lighter down just in front there. That looks good. Just want to make sure I kind of have a dark area where her body comes down. So yeah, it can be tricky. Like I said, you know, just kind of try to get that transition between the light and the dark as smooth as you can, because we've got a mid-tone here, a light, and then the dark coming in front, and this same thing on this side. But then as it comes up here, it switches to a lighter tone, so you go from the darker to mid to lighter, all with this mid-tone right here. So we want to make sure we don't lose any of these edges here. So you kind of have to, you can kind of outline it slightly if you need to. You know, you can just take that white down a little bit and outline some of that all the way down, if that helps. You know,
Is it the 3/8 Stippler?
this is the 3/8, yes.
Man, I'm getting good.
Yeah, it gives a little bit more control here. You guessed it.
I did because I wasn't paying attention when you.
I probably
said it.
didn't mention it. I just grabbed it. I've been switching back and forth. I got the blender still in my hand.
Yeah, it's kind of blocking the side of cam.
Sorry.
He wants all the attention.
Yeah. All right, that looks good. I think I'm going to try to decide if I need to do the snow now or just wait. I think I'll wait. Could do 2 layers of snow. Sometimes I do that and like do a snow that's in the background and then do snow that's in the foreground, a different little bit different color, like the background snow, a little bit more like a zinc white, and then the foreground snow a titanium white. But I think I can do them all at the same time probably and be fine. All right, let's switch to a round brush. I think I want a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think I want it to be, when I flattened it out, I want it to be just about the same width as the scarf. So this, it won't be there, but I think this will do. So this is the 2 round with the, in the Princeton Summit, close to the 1/4 inch, or the 2 round in this one here that I did the hat with the Aspen. All right, so I'm just making sure I've got everything done that I need to get done in the background before I start on the scarf. I think I do. So I'm going to get the magenta and a little bit of yellow. Just a little. You could use the Pyrrole orange too if you wanted. The Pyrrole orange will make it red, more reddish. I'm going to take that color over here. I started to try to mix it here, but I got too much blue in it. So I don't want any blue in this. And I'm going to, I say that and she scoops up some of the blue. I'm going to mix a pink for my scarf. Yeah, that'll work. And some more white. I'm really going to need kind of a darker version of this too. So depending on whatever color you choose for your scarf, you just need to have 3 values of it. So you need a light, medium, and dark. And then you can do whatever color you want and just do your lights and the darks in the same place that we're doing them here, and you'll be fine. So I would pick a color that we've already got going on in our painting. It'll make it, that's why I did the background color with this pink. It'll just make it merge better with the painting, be more unified. So I wouldn't pick a really weird, neon color to use that's nowhere else in the painting. Just make sure you kind of put it in somewhere else in the painting so that it makes sense. I'm going to add a little bit of black to the magenta and get a little bit more of that yellow, a little bit more magenta. Probably had too much yellow there. There we go. Just kind of want a dark burgundy reddish color. Whoops. Oh. Jumped out of my hand. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, I think that'll work. this darker color down, sort of where I'm seeing. Generally, wherever your light is not hitting or you've got folds or things, you're going to have this darker color. And then I'm going to grab the mid-tone. Get a little bit of that darker color kind of coming back this way. And then wiping that out, getting that darker color, and put it, my brush has a hair that's sticking out. That's a sure way to get paint places where you don't want it to be. Okay, just a little dark area right there. And then get the white and pick up just a little bit of that pink. And use it over the top. And if I do this when it's wet, it'll kind of just blend a little bit with it. And so I've got my darker colors on there. I can kind of just go back and forth with this lighter color and get that sweater texture. If it's already dry, you can still do this. You may just have to add a little bit of your mid-tones in to help blend. And may have to let it dry a little bit more before we can do much more with it. We've got a lot of layers of paint on here. They're not going to want to blend, but that looks pretty good, I think. Let's go ahead and work on our scarf that are flying over here. So I'm going to do the same thing, I'm just going to paint it in with my darker color, dark and mid-tones. And then these areas under here where it's folding over on itself are a bit darker right there. Follow that line up and around. Kind of like that. And then this is that scarf here coming in front. And some of that blue from the trees not covering very well. I have to add a little bit more white to this to get it to cover where my trees came down. I'm seeing it through the scarf. Still up there. And I might need to make it a little bit wider in that area too. Just so that this scarf doesn't have to be so big. Okay. That white really helps cover up any dark areas. So if you have or like, you know, the background showing through. So even if you've got a dark area, this magenta is so transparent, it's not going to cover very well. So go ahead and use white, and then you can always come back in and add your dark colors later. So that's what I'm going to have to do here, because I can see the blue from my tree coming all the way through right here. So I just need to let it dry with that white color. It'll help. And bring that around. And paint that in very well right there. That'll have to be a little thicker on the end than I intended it to be. All right. We are just about there on that scarf. Cute. I'll have to add some dark down here. Where it comes around. And I think down here too, but we'll, like I said, I'll just have to let that dry. Give it a second coat later. Let's add our, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good on time. Doing good. I'm gonna go back in with a second coat on my hat. And I'm gonna not go too much over what I've already done on my face, although if I want it to look like the hat's on top of the face, I can cover up the fuzziness, but I don't mind that fuzzy. I don't think it doesn't bother me having it go over the hat right here a little bit. And when I'm filling in, I don't really talk about technique all that much. I probably should just stop to talk about it. But when I'm filling in my design here, it can help to put down my color first in sort of in the middle of my area, and then work it towards the edge. And that way I don't get a big, thick line of paint right on the edge. And you know, if you've ever painted and it dried and you see that, like, you know, you look at it in the light and you see like a little ridge along the edge of your color there. If you're wanting to avoid that, just kind of start. I'll do it on the palette here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So filling in the palette here with some of the wood tones again. So if I want to go on this edge, I'm not going to start necessarily on the edge. I kind of start here. I do a little test kind of run there, and then I'll go here. It kind of offloads a little bit of that color, and I don't get as much of a bead along the edge. And then I can come back through and smooth out any ridges that I'm seeing as I'm painting. I like to paint smooth. I don't like a lot of lines in my paint. But if you want, you know, more texture, you can leave it. You know, it's up to you. It's just the style of painting that I do. I like when I do a lot of layers like this. It helps to have smooth smooth layers underneath. And if you have a lot of ridges, like one just got created there, I don't know if you see that right there where the light is hitting it. Is it picking it up? It just feels like it's really shiny everywhere. But right there, there's like a little line right there of that thick, there you can see it, that thick paint catching the light. So I'm going to go over that and smooth that out so that I don't have any of those in there, so that you can see on the hat it's pretty smooth. And then that way I can put in subsequent layers without having to worry about my paints. What happens is it dries hard, and so when you go back over that, you're going to have a little bump that happens whenever you go over that spot, and so you'll have little weird, weird lumps and things happening, especially when you do your final layers of highlights and things. It can be really frustrating if you've got like these ridges that are causing you grief. It's like I always charged more when I did murals on a heavily textured wall, because it just slows you down, and it's harder to do a straight line if you've got a little bump that you're having to, the bumps and lumps and things that you're having to paint around or deal with. So I'm adding the light color kind of right around the top. I'm going to add a little bit here, wherever I think the light might be hitting it. Kind of supposed to be a wood palette, so also you could get real fancy with it and give it a wood grain if you wanted to, but I think that's probably good enough. Might be a little bit dark for what I want. Might go over that whole thing with just a little bit lighter color. I think I added a little too much burnt umber when I was showing. Okay, that looks good. That's going to dry fairly dark too, so you can go lighter still if you want, but I think that looks okay. All right. I definitely think to do it over again, I would do the background first and then paint the items, because I kind of missed a few spots, or make sure that your drawing is spot on before you do the background, so you know exactly where everything is going to go. Get a little bit of that white and follow that tree down here. See, I think that's what happened, is I saw that tree and I thought that was the edge of the body, and I brought it all the way out to the tree, but it's not. It's supposed to be there. Okay, that's better. Okie doke. Even with all of that, I still can see that line through there. Crazy, huh? Put some white across it. Try and get some of that dark magenta color. Just break up that little bit there. A little bit of black and magenta. I'm not going to worry about the yellow. Nope. It's not covering. Trying to add a little white there, but it's not. Well, I say do the background, but my gosh, this thing is being a real pain here. It is not cooperating. So you may have to just paint the whole thing kind of a light, like a light pink that has a lot of white in it. And then put your shadows on top. Because those trees are showing up a lot. All right, I'll leave that alone. Just needs to dry. All right, let's draw in the brushes. And I'm going to get a pencil here to, excuse me. I'm going to bring, well, I say that. Come on. Draw for me. This is just a charcoal pencil. Okay, so that'll be the hand right there. So the brush, one brush kind of coming down like that, and one brush coming across like that. So I'm just going to follow that line up. There and there. I think that'll give us enough room, and then make sure I'm kind of getting them about the same length. That looks good. Let me bring that one up just a little bit. Okay, and then this will be a square brush, and this one will be a round brush. And just widen those out a little bit to match the size of the border. And that one will come up like that. All right. So let's...
Easy peasy.
I mean, we could do them green if we want them to be our little Princeton brushes that we use all the time. Probably not a bad idea. Might be kind of cute.
Yeah.
Or we can do them brown to match the... I did them brown to match this. They'll be brown up here. I don't know. What does the audience think? You need to ask some questions and give away some stickers.
You did not properly prepare me for the
I
rules
know.
of engagement here.
I know. I didn't... I remembered, like, literally before we started the show, oh, yeah, I was going to give away stickers. That is what came through my mind. So I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't really prepare for that at all. I think I'm going to do brown, but if you want to do green, do green. You do you. I'm going to do the brown just because I think it'll look good with the palette. So a little bit of that there, and then a little bit this, using the same colors as the palette, that burnt umber and burnt sienna color. Said I wasn't going to use a lot of the burnt sienna, but I am using it in all these. Forgot about this.
So I'm going to turn our mics off for a second so I can ask you a question.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we haven't come to an agreement yet.
Mark's like, just have them all email you. And I'm like, yeah, but then I'm going to have like 300 emails that I have to say, sorry, you didn't win a sticker. I have to reply to you. That's not going to work. So, sounds good. But unless we can just say, if I don't reply to you, then you didn't win.
Yeah. I think that would be the easiest.
But it's going to inundate my email inbox. I don't want...
Okay.
I don't want to have to weed through. Plus, I don't. Yeah, no. Please don't. Please don't.
still
If I was smart, I would have put a little secret word in our newsletter today,
Oh, yeah.
and then I could have just said, write in the secret word, and the first so and so number of people will win.
The secret word is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could give a sticker away to everybody who watched the tank video. That should be like 5 people. No.
That'll be that work.
Go to the tank video and comment, I love tanks. I want to see more.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't have their address to be able to send it. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to get them to send us their address. I did not think this through at all. If Chet has any suggestions, let us know here. We have time. We're still thinking on it.
They want pick a random number.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So how do we show that we are above board with this?
I'll write down a number.
Oh, okay. A little sticky.
I got it right here.
Okay. Between what and what?
Between 1 and 100.
Okay. Let me see it. Oh, wow. Okay, so Angela has written a number between 1 and 100.
Mm-hmm.
And they've started putting in numbers.
Good. Good.
So if you put the right number in chat,
Mark will say yes.
I'll say, you got it. Oh man, see now chat's blowing up with numbers.
If you're watching the replay, don't worry about
Yeah.
posting a number because
This
it's
is
too
only
late.
live.
It's only for the live stream. Okay, just using gray, and now I'm doing kind of like little streaks with black across it. Trying to look at what is looking like on my brush here. Oh, I did so it needs to taper this way. I didn't really taper that the right way there. That's all right. Okay, a little bit of black. Pinch it. You can turn that humidifier back on. It's starting to dry out things again. Excuse me.
I'm watching numbers.
You're watching numbers, okay. Here, I'll put here.
No.
Let me do this. I'm gonna write a bunch of different random numbers.
Well, it's too
And
late.
Those people win.
We got to restart because
No, you don't. They've already got numbers there.
almost 100 numbers.
What?
Almost 100 numbers have been guessed.
And nobody's guessed it yet?
No. At least this is helping your chat rate.
It is. It is.
We should do this all the time.
I know. Okay, there's 5 numbers.
Okay, so we have a first winner. And Marie B.
She gets 12.
Guessed 12.
Yay, Marie.
Oh man, now I gotta go back to the top.
I'm glad everybody likes stickers.
Yeah. Okay, now I gotta go back up to the top and look for these other numbers.
Okay, so I'm gonna let those dry because they're really wet. I can't really add anything to them right now. I'm gonna switch to a the little bit more stiff bristled brush because I'm going to dry brush some highlight on my hat here. So I'm going to get some of that gray that I was just using. Start with that, kind of wipe most of it out, and just sort of go along the mid, you know how the hat kind of comes out at you. So I'm going to kind of start where I'm seeing that turn right there and sort of use that as my guide and sort of just pick a shape and kind of follow that curve of the hat there. So that looks about right. And then I'm gonna flatten my brush out and just sort of drag it along so that it kind of breaks up and creates a dry brush. Poor Mark. This is not the way to do it, was it?
Yeah, so you're complaining about how you wouldn't.
You came up with the idea.
So we have,
It wasn't my
a
idea.
second winner, Jen,
Nice.
who guessed 25. So the numbers 12 and 25 have been guessed correctly.
Nice.
All right, I'm looking for 3 other numbers there.
Poor Mark.
And this is the order that they showed up in my chat.
Right. Yes, they might
Oh,
get more white.
we've got a duplicate
There we
winner,
go.
so they've been disqualified for that
Uh-oh.
one.
I say we've got plenty of stickers. Let's just give them to both because we've got enough that we can let anybody who named, unless they
Well,
did
no,
it
no, no,
after.
One person guessed 2 correct numbers.
Oh, yeah, no. We can't win twice. They need to go out and buy a lottery ticket immediately. Because it is obviously you're having some luck tonight. You were meant to have a sticker. And if you win, go ahead and email me, Angela@thankfulart.com. The link is down in the description if you, and Mark will hopefully put it in chat too once he stops looking for numbers. I gave him a job. And I'm just highlighting one of these brushes so that they're a little bit lighter than the other so they stand out a little bit more. Okay, just adding dry brush again. Dry brush is just a way to kind of like lightly brush in some paint without having to fully blend it. Just a really easy light brush strokes with very little paint on the brush. Kind of gives it kind of a scratchy texture. That looks good. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit lighter with the brush filaments. We'll let that dry. Give it a second coat here in a minute. Okay. Poor Mark.
So Sandy said, "Well, then if you're going to give it to duplicates, then we should all guess 12. Just keep it simple."
I should just say how many people commented. Were there
Oh my gosh,
a lot?
I'm scrolling.
Okay. Well, shoot. I was going to say we could give it to everybody who commented, but I don't think I have that many stickers. Yeah, I thought about selling them on Etsy, and then I was like, I don't want to have to deal with it. It's like, I did the math, and it was like I would make, I don't make that much off stickers, and just much rather give them away than have to try to sell them to people. I'd have to sell a lot of them to make it worth the time that it would take.
So have you been telling everybody what you've been painting while you've been painting?
What do you mean?
Well, we've been talking about numbers and stickers, so I just want to make sure that you're still talking about
When I'm painting? Yeah, I'm just adding a second coat here to my scarf. No, I guess I wasn't. What?
Okay.
Well, we can do something different since it's obviously...
We got that's very interesting. Out of 100 members, only two of the 5 that you've written down have been
Wow,
guessed.
that is interesting. Get more white here. So now that's dark enough, or that's dry enough. I mean, I can put that, and then I'm gonna put the lighter color on this scarf that comes in front, and just highlight that part coming down.
Marie, you've already won. You can't keep guessing.
Only win one.
Marie B has
One winner per.
and Jen has 1.
Okay. People are still guessing numbers.
So the question is, guess a number between 1 and 100. Angela wrote down
5 numbers. And we've only had 2 winners so
Only
far.
2 have been
It's
guessed.
crazy. All right. Lightening up this scarf along here. We need to blend out the dark and the light right here. So just trying to get some mid-tone.
Oh, we got another winner in Jazz.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, there we go. That's, I don't know, it's not perfect, but it's close enough for now. I may darken it up later, but I do want to darken up this little bit though, right there. And right under here. Get a little bit of glaze and just bringing this up with a little bit of transparent color. This is turning out to be the hardest part right here, the scarf, which is not surprising. It's got a lot of twists and turns and a lot of, you know, weird angles. So if you want to make it easier on yourself, I would just do a couple of slightly curvy lines coming down, and then just some little dashes at the end instead of doing these like little loopy curly Q things that they're cute and they're very vintagey, but they're not particularly easy. So just warning you, not that you should shy away from difficult things. You don't learn unless you try it, but you may be frustrated if you are if you're a novice painter and trying this part of the scarf. It will be a little bit tricky for you, probably.
Okay, I'm going to help.
Just being.
I'm going to throw out a help clue. The remaining numbers are greater than 50.
Ooh.
And we
Using
don't-
black and unbleached or inburnt umber. Here.
And we don't accept fractional numbers.
People put fractioning.
Yes.
Really? That's
I
funny.
like Michael. Girlfriend from Hawaii. Oh, we
All
have
right.
another winner
Yay.
in Suzy Q.
Cute. I like that name.
We're down to one number.
All right. I'm going to start putting in my colors on my palette. So I'm going to do kind of red. Oh yeah, I have a bird here too to do. Okay, let me do my bird. I'm going to mix some Pyrrole orange and Quinacridone Magenta to make a red, and I'm adding white to it so that it shows up, because those are both transparent colors. And transparent colors, I don't know why I do this to myself. They make great vibrant colors, but they don't do well for coverage, you know, like by themselves. They make great color mixes, and they blend really well with other colors, but they're not the best as far as coverage. Like if you're just trying to get a color to cover over another color, not the best.
Okay, we'll give out another clue. We're narrowing it down. The number is greater than 70.
Ooh. We have so many random numbers.
We were so close.
In our chat.
People are all over. Ooh, and Ange just got
Ange.
it. All right.
Ange, I think Ange is the
So the number guessing is done.
new
Here's the official
patron.
school card. Scorecard.
Okay, so send me an email, please, at angela@thankfulheart.com.
Okay,
Angela@thankfulheart.com.
the number guessing has ended. Ange, you won.
Yay, Ange. All right, and then I'm kind of going to come up from the feet, just kind of do a little tail here coming up. So kind of a teardrop shape for the body, come out with the wing, and then a little cone head for a little cardinal. And I'm going to do the black around the face, around the beak. And do a couple little legs coming back. And then a little bit of dark underneath the wing. Then we'll go with an orange for the beak. A little bit of white mixed in. Okay. Doing messy piles of paint here on my palette. Green. We'll do a teal. Bit of a tealish green, or maybe a little bit of yellow green. There we go. Then the teal. Put your favorite colors on there, whatever you like. White with my blue. Bit of purple with my white. The white just helped make it show up. Literally, this is the only place I'm using purple, just so that it, you know, I wanted it on my palette.
So you could have opened up the tube and stuck
I probably could have.
the brush in it, get some purple.
Yep. And then I wanted a violet, so I'm going to get magenta and a little bit of that purple. Make a violet color. Use that down here. All right. Get my red.
You gave me another chore.
Give you another tour. What?
I thought you said there was something else I needed to do after I finished. I'll put your address on the thing. Somebody's already sent you an email, they said.
Turn on the humidifier.
Oh, yes, turn on the humidifier.
All right. Just using white here to put some highlights in our paint puddles if they need it to show up a little bit better. And it's cute. I like it. Again, just adding little bits of color if it needs it. It doesn't have to be super detailed here, but I just want to be able to see the color against the palette, the wood of the palette. So if it's blending in too much, you might want to go a little bit lighter, a little bit darker with it. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to get burnt umber with a little bit of black and try not to put my hand in it. Make sure that's dry and come right up against, whoops, very soggy. Come right up against the edge of that brush and just pull some lines up to give it some bristles. Okay. Getting some light colored and come down the opposite way with the lighter color. And just keep doing that back and forth until you kind of get some streaks in there that you like. So get the darker color, and you can use a smaller brush if you need to, but just always kind of go in the right direction, up with the dark color and down with the light color. I'm going to use the light color on this one. Pull it down. And every now and then just kind of stop and look at it and see if you need any more highlights. I feel like less is more sometimes with this. Doesn't take much for it to look like a brush. And then use your whatever color you want on the tip of the brush. I think I'm going to use my red. And dab that on. And kind of dab it on a little bit wider than the brush itself. And just kind of streak a little bit down in on one side. That looks good. Cute. Getting some white here. Dab on a little bit of highlight on my red. Go on my bird now that it's dry. Maybe add a little bit more of an orangey red. Cardinals are kind of a orangey red color. Add a second coat. And then get some white. And just think about where the light's hitting, maybe the top of the wing, top of the head here, the tail, on the breast a little bit. And then I'm going to use this color too on my paint dollop to give it a little highlight. All right, let's give our snowman a face and some buttons. So I want her kind of curved, the head tilted, and maybe kind of right in here. Eyes are not too far apart. The nose kind of high up between them, and then the mouth kind of small, like a V shape, and some little cheeks. So make sure I've got enough room kind of under my eyes for those cheeks to go. So this eyes should curve around and kind of do a circle where the mouth ends. And I think that's probably pretty good. Can't really see it very well, but eyebrow. I might make it a little bit bigger. Let me use a color so you can see it better. I'll use some pink. I can go a little bit bigger. So, mouth, cheek, nose, and eye. And I'm going to bring it down just slightly. I want to get this right because this is the whole personality of the snow person. So let's start with where to place the eyes. I think I'm going to do it kind of closer together. I think I liked it better the first time around. I made it a little bit too big. Oh my God. It's like I feel something wet. Y'all, don't do this. I do this all the time. I swear.
Your sleeve?
Why? You would think I would learn by now. No, it's just on my hand. I swear. I've been painting for how many years now? 30? I don't know.
1 or 2.
And I still do stupid stuff like this, so. It's all right. I know all the tricks to fix it. That's because I've been doing this for so long. I know. My goodness. Sometimes if you wet it down, it'll come off. But then sometimes it'll just take all of it off too, so. Nope, not gonna work. Okay. Just trying to see if I could reactivate it a little bit with a little bit of water, but it did not work. a little bit of wet paint. So I'm gonna have to mix that background color again. Get it as close as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And just streak it down. Fortunately, we've got all these streaks in here that it's not going to matter too much. And if it shows up, you can always go back in and add a little bit of white over it, make it look like a tree or something like that, and just continue it up, you know. I think that's good enough. And now I have no paint on my palette right there. To add that color back in and add my purple back in. Trust me, I've done all of it. I've splattered paint all over my students before, so I'm a messy painter. I was once telling a class about a thing, and I was like doing like this with my brush, and I just went and just like got paint all over the front row. Yeah. They were nice about it, thankfully. That was when I first started painting.
Angela Anderson.
That was, I mean, gosh, that was when I was pregnant with Jordan, so
Wow.
30 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 30 now. It's crazy. So I've proudly been making messes with paint for years.
Full contact sport.
It is. Get me around paints and watch out. Okay, gonna do a little bit more of that violet color down here. I need some clean white. I'm going to spray down my palette now and clean it off so I have some place to work. And then we'll go back to doing the face. I just had a 10-minute excursion that didn't need to happen. Nope, definitely did not need to go down that road. I'm just going to take off all that white. It's just covered with paint at this point, even though I'm trying to get mixed from the corner. It's still just, after a while. It's too polluted to use. I'm going to try to leave that, I don't know, it's fine. Not enough of it to save. It'll be dry in 5 minutes anyways. All right, there we go. Clear palette. What time is it? 10:50. Okay, we need to be moving on here. We're really close to the end. We got everything but our snowflakes and our holly in the face. So yeah, surprisingly, and the buttons and the snowflakes. Okay, we've got a few things left to do, but I swear we're getting there. I figured this one would take a while. It's got a lot of detail, and I always get kind of caught up when I'm painting Snowman and do all the fun details in them. All right, and let's do right here, kind of close to the, I got wet. Somewhere in there. Okay, let's just paint. I'm going to get a smaller brush. This is the 20-aught round. And the black. And let me do the bird here. Bring out the black portion. Give him that kind of bib that they have. And then I'm gonna mix up kind of a gray. Whoops, I need white. So I want kind of a light gray. Maybe even just like a little bit of blue for our shadow underneath our eyes on our snowman. Probably this color would have done. Be fine. That looks okay. All right, so clean that off. I'm just going to have that ready to go. Go a little bit farther apart. Too much water. Try to get them about the same size. I just did it again. Oh my God. Okay, I need to move my palette because I'm having to put my hand down to get, I need to turn my painting because I'm having to put my hand down there to do the face, and I just save your palette for last because these are gonna take a while to dry, and obviously if you're like me, you're gonna put your hand in it a million times while they're drying. My goodness. Okay, I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna hold my hand above that so I don't touch it. Because it's too late now. It's there, I can't. And there's just a little flicks at the end that have like little suggestions of eyelashes. Right? And then little eyebrows. Okay. I'm gonna get that cobalt teal and just put a little bit of it right up underneath, like smudging some eye. You have it paused out there?
Oh, I don't know. I went, got a drink and made a sandwich.
Oh, made a sandwich. Good.
I was like, yeah, I'm thirsty, so I went and get a drink, and then my body was like, hey, you're hungry too.
Like,
Hey, you know you're right. Just to make a sandwich.
Good idea. All right, so my little red, I'm going to go kind of a little bit more bright red here with the little bit of orange mixed in. Kind of the same color as I did up there. Just do a little circle, like a little, actually it's kind of more of an oval for the button nose. You could do a carrot here too. I have lots of snowman paintings. So if you don't like the little button nose, you can do whatever you want on yours. I will not take off any points for it. In fact, I will applaud you. Oh, cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay. So for the cheeks, we're going to want to kind of dry brush those. And I'm going to get a little bit of the magenta red-ish color and then wipe most of it out. And you got to think about it like blush. You want very little product on your brush and very light touch to start with. So, and I'm just like literally scrubbing this. I've got a 1/4 inch blender so that it's a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to handle in this little area here. Just give her some rosy cheeks there. And that's about all I'm gonna do for that. I'm gonna fix that shoulder there. There's kind of a weird gap happening, so I'm gonna get some of that phthalo blue color from the background and just kind of blend that out a little bit. And if you need a little bit more detail, you can add a little white to help define it there and there. And then just kind of tap it down to blend it in. I do kind of think I almost need a little thing there, but I'm gonna leave it for now, and I'm gonna try to get that. I really didn't think that through with that red, because now she's got eyeshadow. Just use water and try to kind of wash it off if you want, but it's going to leave a little bit of that pinkness behind probably, which I don't hate. It's fine. I'll probably do another coat of white over the top of that. Just get some white. It'll brighten up the eyes too. Clean up the shape a little bit, and then I can blend out the edges if I need to. There we go. Get a little white for the nose and the eyes. Little highlights in the eyes. And then I'm going to get the black and kind of clean up any lines and maybe soften up the highlights just a little bit at the bottom. Cute. Bring it up a little bit more. Gonna get a little bit of that red with this black. Put it under the nose, just to darken that up, and a little bit under the bottom lip. A little bit of a, thank you.
The painting's similar good too.
A little bit of a chin, just a little line there to kind of indicate the bottom of the mouth. Gonna get some white and kind of clean that up a little bit. don't use that red pen, so I don't like what it's doing to my face. Colors. Use blue instead. It'll be better. It'll blend better than this red pencil that I'm having to fight to try to cover. Or just gray. Like a gray color. But I've got this reddish tone. It's not the same color of red even. It's kind of just looking weird. Do a little bit of white right there. And just push it around while it's wet. You hopefully won't have to do this because you won't be using a red pencil to do yours. Please don't. Was not a good choice. It was a red. I was trying to do it so you guys could see it, so I should have just stuck with the white that I had originally had. This is a red Phthalo pastel pencil, and it drew just fine, but it did not. I don't like what it did there. And I'm gonna get some more of that shadow color on our girl, and I'm gonna fix her neck here because it's kind of weird where it comes down. Just gonna give a little bit of shadow right there. Go over the top of that scarf a little bit right there where it comes down, and then a little bit of white and just blend it out. The white's going to blend with that color that's wet and soften it up as it goes. I'm using the firmer brush too here so I can kind of push the paint around a little bit too. This is the Aspen 2/0 round. Okay. I think I've cleaned it up. I'm kind of going over my red too, just to tone it down a little bit. I feel like it's a little too dark. I think I should have had my face just a little bit lighter. I'm being kind of fussy right now, fussing with this, but I think I would have liked my face just a little bit lighter when I did this because the red cheeks, when it went on, it kind of turned purple because the face was so blue still in that area. So I think I would have liked it if it was a little bit more white in that area as a base. And I'm gonna put that green over here, the green holly and some Just mixing the green with the almost like she's got green hair coming out. There, and then I want some down here on the palette too. Just kind of gives it a little bit of something so that there's just a big empty space there. And it helps fill that in. Get a little bit of darker color for our holly. Mixed a little bit of burnt umber with the green to do our little holly. Some yellow. Not loving it yet. We'll get it there. I'm trying to do too many layers while it's wet, so just need to let it dry. I'm going to do the red berries though. I'm going to have to add white. Magenta and Pyrrole orange. Cute. Don't love the shape of the face. I think I like the face on the example better because I kind of left her a little bit more chin area on the example, and the color's a little bit warmer, but let's do the buttons, or the coal, I should say.
Speaking of coal, have you got all my Christmas presents yet?
No.
Just wondering.
You didn't really give me a list, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But that hasn't stopped you in the past.
I got you some stuff.
Yeah. There's a list of like 3 things or something.
I know you and the boys are terrible. We do Secret Santa, and Spencer's got literally 2 things on his list for a Secret Santa person. I'm like, don't give them much room to work with. He's
Other
like, well, that's
members
what
of
I
the
want.
Family have like 16.
Exactly.
20.
I have. It didn't take me any time to come up with a huge list of under $100 gifts. Everybody else is like $150 here, and I'm like, you guys are not listening to the memo. It's I've got some. I'm putting shadow underneath there.
Well, I've noticed that companies must have caught on to this because a lot of the gifts are like more than the limit.
Right.
And they never were that way before. I guess prices have gone up. So.
Prices have gone up, yeah.
I guess I could send links to the Lego store.
You should. But then you probably buy them for yourself before they...
Maybe. Who knows?
Right, adding highlights there. You can add another highlight to your hat if you need at this point. I might just add a little bit more right down the middle. Highlights to your things there. Anywhere else that you're seeing that you need room. I don't love the face. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it, but I think it's this white around it, but I'm not going to fuss over it. I don't have time tonight.
You go somewhere?
Gonna get some white. Did he go in the car?
He went somewhere with Spencer,
Oh boy.
but he just ate his food.
Nice.
So we need a, come here,
Wiping off the chalk marks. Anywhere that you see chalk marks still. I'm gonna give my eye of my bird. I'm gonna use a very small brush here. Just give it a little highlight around it. I like to do kind of like a light gray around the eye and then do just a tiny, tiny little highlight in the eye. There we go. Can give our beak a second coat. And give it a little line down the middle, very thin. Okay. You can't even see that, it's too far away. Gonna get a little bit of white and yellow with my orange. Highlight the beak just a little bit. This is so tiny that it's kind of hard to see what's happening, but it will hopefully make a difference. You want a little bit of a detail in there. I didn't like where the line ended up, but I'm going to do another line a little higher. There we go. And then get my orange and just kind of soften up. A little bit of a highlight there. Give him some claws coming down. Some feet. Don't have to be very big though. All right. Like I could go a little bit brighter on my highlights on his body. So I'm going to get a little bit of my orange and my magenta. I'm running out of magenta. There we go. And my white. Light orangey red. And then I'm going to get my orange, go over that. That white underneath will help tint this. Get a little bit more magenta. Do kind of a deeper red. Okay. That's good. I need to kind of fix the eye. I kind of made it a little weird shape there. So we get the black. And just correct that little Clean up the beak a little bit. Okay. So tiny you can't really see much of this. Like I'm literally looking at the reference photo in the thing to try to see what I'm doing because I can't get that close in real life. But I think that's close. Okay, good enough. Let's do our berries. We are well over time.
Oh well.
Sorry.
I don't care.
Okay.
You see me caring? Oh, I don't care.
You need to go out and pause your Oak Island so you can watch the replay.
That's alright. There's always tomorrow.
Okay. Going with kind of a mid-tone. I feel like it was kind of too light there. This has got phthalo green and cadmium yellow light. Need to do kind of my smoky blue green for the other little bits here. Could add some white to the cobalt teal, just adding cobalt teal to that green I already had and then adding white to it. And gonna do some little fuzzy bits around it. Look like needles.
So I
I
decided.
need a smaller brush. I'm just having trouble getting this, controlling it in this space. What?
So I decided to practice my video editing skills, and I tackled your Santa video and wanted to do kind of a time lapse kind of progression. You know,
Right.
not just all just one shot sped up really fast.
Right.
And we spent a lot of time in that video doing the holly.
Yeah.
So if somebody's wanting to know how to do holly,
Switching to a smaller
That's the
brush here,
one.
just so I have more control here. Yeah, the polar bear did holly too. And
yeah, but
it
not
didn't
like
take-
you did on Santa.
No, I did more detail on the Santa one, for sure.
I've been successful to cut the 3+ hour
You
video.
just did it?
Yeah, I've got the
Okay.
video, the 3+ hour video down to under 10 minutes.
I think Ben has done it too, didn't he?
I don't know. I did
Okay.
it just because I was trying to teach myself video editing.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's there if you want to use it.
When did you do that?
Over the last few weeks.
Okay. Awesome.
I do stuff other than scroll through TikTok, you know.
All right. Really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Okay. You say so.
probably roll the tanks too.
Right. Using some darker green here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Still not loving it, but we're getting closer. So I need to stop fussing with it because we're never going to end today. And getting some white, doing some white, light. I say white, it's got white in it. It's the kind of lighter greenish. So I'm finding that over the face that is not working, but over the hat I need to do that, you know. So it's like I can't use the same color in both places because it's like not, it's not looking good right. Okay, that's all right. Let's get some yellow and green here in my white, and I'm running out of clean white. And I'm going to outline my holly, do a little line. Right. It definitely needs to be darker green. I'm going to let that dry though. And then let's do the red berries. Some white. Just highlight those. Whoop. Make them a little bit pink. This is where, you know, the details kind of get you on time. They take longer than you realize, or me, you know. I'm like, yeah, I'm making good time. The Snowman takes no time at all. It's all these other little things that you add to it that really bring it up, and you know, to the next level, and you know, make it take a lot longer too. So, you know, kind of know that going in. If you want to leave some of these details out, it won't take quite as long. It won't be, the difficulty level comes down to, and I have a lot easier snowmen out there for sure that I've done over the years. So I would say the one I did last year was pretty detailed, on par with this one, but the two that I did the previous 2 years that were just the faces were a lot easier. The blue one and the one that has the kind of reddish, just the face. So I'm kind of coming back in here and adding some dark color. That's a little bit closer to what I want. I just added a little bit of burnt umber to my green. Okay, that's good enough. I can see it against there. It's close enough. I need to do the stripies on my scarf. So I'm going to use this green with some white. This minty green. And just kind of find some places for my, oh, there's my 3 hours. Since I set it up, not since we've been painting, but we're getting there. Approaching it. Trying to follow the lines of the scarf there. You can leave them out if you don't want them. That's fine. Not going to hurt anything, but I like to have a little extra detail there. And I'm going to keep them very sketchy so that they don't have to be perfect. if you keep them light and kind of skip around a little bit, it keeps you from having to do all the detail and just have it be just so. And kind of lightly let, yeah, but I am kind of following the curve of the scarf where it's meeting the thing. So here I'm going to curve it this way and do these two kind of straight, and these ones kind of curving this way. Okay.
See, you sigh when you do stuff you like.
I know.
Now
I do.
from the snowflakes.
I'm going to do the dark, I'm going to do a dark edge on this palette here to give it an edge. Give it some dimension. Maybe not that thick, but my paint's getting sticky, so it's not wanting to go smooth for me, flow smoothly. And then what happens is if it doesn't flow smooth, then you press down a little harder, and then you end up with a line that's too thick. So make sure your paint's thin and that it's flowing well, and then you'll get a better line to do this. Yeah, there we go. Just a little darker shadow at the bottom there, like as if it's got an edge. Maybe bring it up just a little bit. Okay. I like it. I'm going to get a little bit more white on the tip of my brush. If I can get some that's not dirty. I'm going to put out Zinc White, fresh Zinc White, and Titanium White for my snow and snowflakes. It'll be easier to draw them out. And I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight on the eyes. Kind of just give them a little bit of a twinkle. And then I think I'm going to do my snow first and then do my snowflakes so that the snow can dry. Well, no, because then I'll put my hand in my snowflakes. Take that back. I take that back. Okay, let's do our snowflakes first.
And to the unruly, unusual suspects, they are not white snowflakes. Or, I mean, white snow spider webs.
Are they saying they're white spider webs?
We have some unruly, unusual suspects out there.
That's okay. They do kind of look like white spider webs.
We need to send them something other than a sticker.
They do look. Well, now I can't unsee it. Thanks very much. You could have told me before I painted it. And you can, I don't know, do stuff along the edges too. Do little dots along the edges.
It's definitely giving
Yeah,
me that
look.
50s, 60s vibe.
That was
like
the
it.
idea.
I really like it. I've enjoyed watching you work on this and
Thank you, hon.
things. And if you missed it, at the beginning of the video, I have an animated picture this time.
I know. I did. Tried my hand at some animation, which was really fun.
And it came out great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really fun. I love trying new stuff, and the new Procreate Dreams just came out, so I treated myself to that. But it actually is the one that I did on Procreate itself instead, because I couldn't figure it out in time. So, yeah. So, and that kind of, I don't know, you can get as detailed as you want with your little snowflakes. I put one on the body right here too. Do an X and then a line through. Little V's, I actually have some snowflake tutorials where we painted some snowflakes a couple years ago too. So you can check those out. I think that's all I'm going to do because we're running out of room, but I would definitely do more. And I do want to do also a couple more things. I want a little white dot on my berries. So get those little white dot. And then I want to do some gold dots around my just going to scoop out a little bit of gold paint. And just use it on the tip of my brush and dab on some little gold details. This is going to bring it retro right here. That little touch of gold. You can splatter it. You can put it in the scarf or other places, but I thought at least right there and there would be good.
So is this a mid-century modern snowman?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
Yes. Yes.
We should put that in the title.
Mid-century modern.
Mid-century modern.
Yes. And a little bit of glaze with my pinkish color. I'm just going to use my Deerfoot Stippler and just use that to buff out some pink in the body. I can kind of soften up that face too, maybe. I really do wish that I had gone a little bit. You see how white that is? That's really what I needed on my face there. It kind of ended up being a little bit dark, but it's all right. I just kind of wish it was a little bit lighter. I didn't notice it until it was too late. And I'd already started painting on it. All right, getting that zinc white. I like to do the zinc white first and then do my titanium white after, and that gives it kind of a 3D effect. You have some snowflakes that are a little bit smaller or a little bit more transparent like, and then some that are bolder, more bright white. You can add more white to your snow down here at the bottom if you want. Whatever looks good to you. I got too much on my bird. So I'm just going to, while that's wet, I'm just going to dab it off carefully. Just tap it on his face. Okay. Make sure everything is dry before you do this layer, and that way you'll not end up with wiping off something when you try to, if you make a mistake or something and try to wipe it off. I would have wiped off my bird face there if it was wet. Okay, now titanium white. don't know if you can see the difference, but it's just subtle. There's just a little bit different.
A little bit brighter.
Yeah, a little bit brighter there. Okay, there we go. There's our little artist snowman.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for hanging out and watching with us today. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be painting a vintage Christmas tree next week, so that'll be kind of that would be something you could put with this. It was too long to do today, so if you want to wait for that before you paint it, leave yourself room for your little vintage Christmas tree to go next to this. That's an option there. But it's not on the schedule yet, but I'll be, like I said, bringing that out this week.
So sign for the newsletter.
Yes, sign up for the newsletter or just or follow me on my social media. And we'll be posting it on socials and everywhere.
All the links are down below
usually,
this video.
Yep, on my website too, yep. So, all right, there we go. I think I went a little heavy with the snow, but you get the idea. Never. All right. Thank you guys so much. Whew, this one took a while, but and I'll be sending I meant to give away more of these, but we just kind of ran out of time tonight, so sorry about that. But thank you so much for all of your support. You guys, hope you have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.